How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here, and in this video, I'm going to break down and share with you all the top couple of stocks and ETFs that I'm watching and looking to trade right now in the middle of December, heading into the third week, actually, of December here in 2019. I also want to share with you all what the stock market did in terms of the S&P 500 over the past 5 days so we can get an understanding of what could potentially happen here on a technical basis. And typically in these videos, I'm also breaking down the futures market, which opens at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday, but unfortunately, I'm filming this at 1 p.m. today Eastern Standard because I can't film it later on. I'm actually going to a musical festival or a music event here tonight in Philadelphia, so bear with me, guys, on that part of the video since I can't actually film that, but of course, we'll talk about a few scenarios that could occur and what I'm watching for when the futures market does open here at 6 p.m. for the markets in general, and in terms of natural gas, gold, and so forth. So all I ask from you is if you enjoyed this video, simply go down below, hit that like button, and consider subscribing if you want to see further content from me. And if you want 2 stocks from Webull, the link is down below. You get one, I believe, when you just simply use the link, and you get another one when you deposit any amount of money. So if you want free stocks, if you want free money, that link is down below. And let's talk about quickly what the S&P did last week. So we can see here on this hourly chart, the 20-day 1-hour chart, last week we saw a very bullish move. If you guys recall, we were actually selling off a bit in the market. We saw 1, 2, 3 days of selling, and then actually in the beginning of last week, we got the breakout. We got this bullish move of breaking above the moving averages and kind of breaking out of the overall downtrend that is signified here by this little trend line, right? So we broke that. That was, I believe, on Monday. If I pull up this 5-day chart, you'll be able to see it. I believe it was this day or this day. Either way, we broke out, right? And ever since then, we got some good news involving a phase 1 deal with China, right? Between the U.S. and China. Markets soared after that. We also got some news in terms of the Federal Reserve. They're not looking to cut rates in 2020 or raise rates at that in 2020 either. And the markets, I'm not too sure how the markets took that. The markets seemed unshaken by that, but the phase 1 deal definitely pushed these markets up, and kind of the whole, anticipation behind that deal, or rather what was going to happen before the December 15th deadline, which is actually today, guys. So that's kind of what the markets did last week. Overall, very strong week. I think every market, Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, I think they all hit all-time highs. You can see the S&P here hit 3182.68 to be exact. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on that? So now let's break down what I'm looking at, starting off here with natural gas, UGAS, and DGAS. And again, bear with me, guys, because I can't take a look at, what the futures open up at, but we'll, again, talk about some different scenarios that could end up happening here. So I'm looking at NGF20 right here, the natural gas futures, the January contract here. And if we zoom in a bit to this hourly chart, watch what happens here when the markets, or rather when that futures market opens, right? Watch what happens, because this is going to signify what we're looking to trade tomorrow. And by watch what happens, I mean take a look at what's going to happen around this 180 SMA. This is very, very key for natural gas here, because you can see over the past couple of weeks, and I've been talking about this in these videos, we've been downtrending, we've been getting rejected under that 180 SMA, lower highs, lower lows, all of that good stuff. And we're at a pivotal point. This is what I'm saying, guys. This futures market will tell us most likely where this price action will be headed tomorrow. So if we break out, like I have signified by these arrows here, where obviously we didn't break out, but let's say we do break out this time, this could be a bullish move for UGAS, where we may see a little head of steam here for natural gas. Maybe, a rally, especially if we break 233, maybe a rally up to 240, maybe 245, maybe even 250, right? But like a lot of the fundamentals have been pointing, a lot of the technicals as well, right? We see more downside. We may see potential downside here because we have a lot of production. Quite frankly, the natural gas reports, they've all been bearish and we have mild weather. And let me tell you guys, here in New Jersey, where I'm from, I walked out of the house this morning and I'm like, is it August? Is it September? Because it's like, well, maybe not August. Is it September? Is it October? Because it's like 50, 60 degrees out here. So, definitely mild weather across the country, and we'll talk about some weather here in a couple of minutes. So that does lead me to believing, at least fundamentally here, we may see further downside in natural gas. And that leads me to the next thing, where if we gap down, we get rejected here, heading into tomorrow's session, and especially at 6 p.m. when the futures markets open, that's going to be a huge sign to play DGAS tomorrow, right? So that's kind of what my thoughts are in terms of the technical breakdown. Very simple. I've broke this down in many, many videos here in the past, but remember, guys, we get new viewers on this channel literally every single day, new subscribers every single day, which is why I do like going over these technical breakdowns pretty much every single day, right? So UGAS, DGAS, that's kind of what I'm watching. Natural gas F20, that's really just the breakdown that I'm looking at here. So let's talk about some weather here from December 13th through the 19th across the U.S., kind of what's expected here. So milder conditions will spread across the country the next few days, with highs of upper 40s to 70s gaining in coverage, warmest across Texas and the South for light national demand. Demand will increase early next week as cooling returns across many regions of the U.S., coldest across the Midwest and Northeast as lows of 0s to 20s return, along with areas of rain and snow. Reinforcing cool air will continue across the Northeast late next week, while the rest of the country warms above normal. Overall, moderate low demand through Sunday and back to high early next week. So that's kind of a little weather breakdown of what to expect here over the next couple of days across the different regions. And remember, when we break down the natural gas report, you guys can see, what regions used the most in terms of, BCF of natural gas from the week-by-week basis. So, last week, if I remember correctly, we had about a 78 BCF withdrawal. The week before that, we had like a 19 or something like that. The week before that, we had 90. But nonetheless, all of these reports have pretty much been bearish, right? And again, that weather is not looking too great for a huge push here in demand for natural gas, and thus a huge push in the prices, and then a push in UGAS, right? So overall, I'm leaning towards DGAS, but again, the futures market is what's going to tell us, really, at least in the short term, what's going to happen in terms of those. So let's hop into other stocks here that I have, because guys, I have a lot here on my list that I'm looking at on my phone, so we have to get through these. CGC is one a lot of people have been talking about, and this is Canopy Growth Company, or a corporation, for those of you guys that don't know. And the catalyst on CGC is they got a new CEO. And if you guys have been following the MJ space in general, all the stocks have been getting crushed, especially CGC, and the lack of their CEO, the lack of this leadership in the company has really been dragging the stock down, I think, further than a lot of its peers. Like, what's the other one? I freaking own one. I should know this, guys. ACB. What is it? ACB here. RAR. This one, it's been crushed a lot, but there's some that actually haven't been crushed as bad as CGC and ACB. But either way, this hiring of this new CEO, it's actually causing a breakout in the stock. And if you guys look a bit closer, you can see, 180 SMA, 50 SMA, those have been resistances over the whole entire, 6-8 month period, or actually really it's the 6-month period that we're seeing here. And now, ever since we got that news, you guys can see, I believe it was it this day? No, it wasn't this recent. I believe it might have been this day. We went from $13 all the way up to $21, guys, which is pretty insane. It was either this or this. I'm pretty sure it was this day, but either way, there's a lot of bullish momentum in the stock here, and we're actually at a resistance where, if we zoom in a bit, we can see we struggled there back in, October, back in the middle of November, back towards the end of November, a couple of days ago in the beginning of December. Now now we actually got rejected yet again at that level on Friday at about $21.50. So for me, I'm setting an alert here on CGC because I do think it's bullish in my opinion, or rather not bullish, but there's a lot of potential for it to turn bullish here if it breaks above 21.50. So I'm going to set that alert at maybe 21.75 just to be safe. Actually, no, 21.50 probably to catch it early. So 21.50, we'll set it there. And ultimately, guys, you can see by the trend lines, I see potential from 21.50 up to, let's say, if I pull out this tool very quickly, probably the first sell point where I'm looking to shave off some profits would be around $23, right? So from 21.50 to around $23. If we zoom in on that a bit, you can see that's around 7%. And then ultimately, if we get to the next resistance, which could happen, right? This thing has been clobbered, slaughtered, so it could rally. Who knows? If we get to 25, that could be a 17% gain from 21.50. So CGC, there's a lot of potential here, in my opinion, but we have to be patient with it and see what it does at that 21.50 level. So Starbucks, S-Bucks is another one, guys, that I've been talking about over the past couple of videos because of the breakout it's showing. Similar to CGC, although this one is a bit further in the breakout process, we've been breaking above moving averages here. Higher lows, higher highs on top of the 50 SMA. We're getting the bullish cross here, 50 SMA above that 180 SMA, and we actually had a pretty strong day, up 0.5% here on Friday. And overall, last week was a strong week for Starbucks. Most of that's due to the markets doing well, but either way, still a very strong week for Starbucks last week. So honestly, guys, on this 4-hour chart, we are a bit overbought, so I'd like to see a cool off here in Starbucks, maybe down to about $87. That's where I'd probably start buying, $87 for a swing trade. If we do get down there, we hold that support. RSI gets to a healthier spot. That's definitely, an area that I'd like to accumulate some shares. And if we zoom out, or not really zoom out, but look at this next spot here, it's around $89.50, $90. From 87 up to $90, that could be a nice little, short-term swing trade in Starbucks of around 2.53%, but that's if it pulls down, right? If it breaks out of here, guys, that could be a whole different story where, we may be rallying to the lower 92s, something like that. So the next one I want to talk about here, and it's been probably the hottest stock that I've been watching, and I'm sure a lot of you can attest to that yourselves, that's Shopify, guys, ticker symbol SHOP. And this is one that I've been calling out here for weeks. I've been watching it ever since really we got down to this 288 level. And if you guys have watched my videos for at least a couple weeks at this point, you know that, right? Because I swing traded it here. I believe I started scaling in 316, ended up selling out right around here, which obviously I left a lot on the table, but it's okay because this thing still has some potential in my opinion, right? So although I didn't get all the profit I could, the point is, and what I kind of follow is, in terms of a swing trading strategy, is take profits along the way. Don't be scared to lock in the profits, guys. No one's ever been broke locking profits, but look for a re-entry if it's appropriate. And me personally, guys, you saw on Friday, I said I missed this. This would have been the perfect entry because of the consolidation on 370 and the breakout, right? That would have been the perfect entry, but I missed it. But now we could potentially get in on another entry, which could be 380, right? And we can see on the 1-day, 1 minute, based on the close here of Shopify, we kind of peaked at around 390. Now we're selling off into the close. That could indicate, hey, we may be selling off a bit more. We may be going down 380. Hey, if we break 380, guys, who knows? We may go all the way back down and test 370. That's obviously the ideal situation, in my opinion, for an entry point if you're looking to hold as a swing here. But with the way it's broken above 380, being very bullish here, we might not even get that pull down in 370. So 380 is the ideal point that I'm looking at here as the most realistic situation. So 380 up to 400, which I made a video a couple of days ago, and I talked about how Shopify could go to 400 here. So 380 to 400, that's around a 5-6% potential. Up to 410 will probably be more around 7-8%. So Shopify, I missed the entry. Dang it, I missed the entry, but it happens. It's really what the game's about, guys. You miss some, you call some out, and you miss them anyway. You lose money, you make money. That's just how it goes, right? So Shopify, Home Depot is another one that I'm kind of being patient on. I'm not in it. I was in it, lost a bit of money a week or two ago, but now I'm still looking to enter on the break above that 50 SMA. That's really all I'm looking at here for Home Depot. I saw some people in the group chat, Discord chat, which is linked down below, saying they have some call options on Home Depot, and honestly, that's a good move in my opinion, especially if there are longer term call options. I see this thing recovering, right? We see the massive pull down. Overall, this uptrend is still holding up. On the 3-year chart, we can see we're holding that 50 SMA. Even on the year chart, guys, although we broke that 180 SMA, we're still overall uptrending over the 1 year, right? Over this year. So that's why I'm saying that 50 SMA break is going to be ideal on that 4-hour chart, because if that happens, right, if we do something like that, on all of the larger time frame charts, that's going to show a buy signal in my opinion, right? That'd be an EMA break on the daily chart. On the weekly chart, that would be an EMA break as well. So that's pretty bullish in my eyes if that were to happen for Home Depot, but that's if, because it hasn't quite yet happened. So again, being patient with Home Depot, but still looking at it as a pretty good option here over the next couple of weeks if it does end up breaking up. So AbbVie is one that I'm currently in, ticker symbol ATVI. I believe I'm in, what am I in at, guys? Like 57.30, I believe I'm in. And this is one that I entered on this massive push up, guys. We got a very big break, and that's where a lot of bulls started to come in. That's where a lot of volume started to flood in. As you guys can see down here, I know my volume is a bit minuscule down here, but you guys can see a lot of volume started flooding in there, and that's because if we zoom back out to that, or rather to the 3-year chart, you can see, and I've been mentioning this, guys, over these videos, you can see how 57 was a huge level of resistance. Huge level of resistance. On the 4-hour chart, we were struggling there for weeks on top of weeks, close to 3 months. So we finally broke that level. Huge technical break, and when technical breaks like that happen, again, volume kicks in, buying kicks in. That's why we're seeing this huge spike up here, and quite frankly, why this thing has rallied 5% ever since we kind of broke that level. So crazy move here in AbbVie. Would I buy shares at this level right here? I don't know. I might wait for a pull down because, again, I'm in at around 57.30, so I have a bit of buffer built into my position. So maybe a pull down to like 58 would be a nice entry point to add more, but who knows? I think this has potential to fly up even higher because we kind of already got the pullback. We got that pullback. We closed on a bullish note on Friday, so I'm looking to see if this continues heading into tomorrow, which, again, with the close that we're seeing here, I think it will continue into tomorrow. If not tomorrow, over the next week, I think there is a lot more potential to the upside here. So coming down to the last couple, guys, I know this video might be a bit long, but I know you guys find value. If you haven't quite yet smashed that like button, go smash it if you are enjoying this video so far and do enjoy these stock picks that I'm giving you all. So NVIDIA, this is another one that's kind of on the same page as AbbVie. On the longer term chart, we broke a major resistance, 220. You guys can see we ran all the way up to 228, which is bullish, and we pulled down, which is a good sign, giving us swing traders that margin of profit of around 2%. So at this point, if we go to that 20-day 1-hour chart, you can see that maybe we can pull down to about 221. Maybe we consolidate at 220, 223, right around this general area for a couple of days. Maybe we meet that EMA, at a higher low and enter, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. This is a good pull down, healthy pull down in my opinion, due to how quick it ran from 216 to 228. Very quick move there. So the pull down's giving us plus, again, that profit potential. So NVIDIA from 223 up to 230, that could be around a 2% profit. But if we go back to that 3-year chart, there's more in the tank, guys. I see this one going to at least 240. That could be a nice potential move there for NVIDIA, right? From 220 here up to 240, that's around 8%. Up to 250, that's around 12% in terms of how much we can make. Another one that I'm currently in and that I'm watching is PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL. This is one that I trimmed a bit of profits here off the top on Friday because this thing ran up very aggressively since I got in initially, which was, I believe, it was either this day or this day. I'm pretty sure it was this day. On that technical break, built a bit of a position at 104.30. Again, sold a bit of it off here at 107, but I still see potential, although I sold off. Again, I like selling, taking profits on the way up, and then looking to re-enter. No one ever went broke, guys, taking those juicy profits, right? So if we see here, at 108, you can see why I took the profits. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's a resistance here. It's a safe move, in my opinion, heading into the weekend. But if we break 108, there's a lot of potential up to around 111, 112, around 3-4% potential to be exact. So if we get that, if we get that break, some consolidation, that's where I might add more. And, eventually with the goal of taking the profits at around 111 to 112 bucks. And you guys can see there's even more potential after that. So big move potential here in PayPal. The last one I want to talk about here is going to be gold, guys, /GC. And gold's always interesting to watch, especially as these markets are at all-time highs. There's a little bit of uncertainty in the markets, trade war, end of the economic cycle, recession fears, all of that stuff. It's always good to watch gold. And you guys can see gold actually, it's slowly breaking above moving averages here. This is looking a bit bullish in my eyes. The fact that we're slowly starting to, right? But we didn't full on break out yet, which is why it's not 100% bullish quite yet. But again, markets being at all-time highs, I think it'd be foolish not to watch gold and not to have a few gold ETFs in mind that you'd be looking to trade, if the markets were to hit the fan, if you guys know what I mean, right? And overall, yeah, it is downtrending, but if we did that, that would be a nice breakout here on gold. And what I'm watching in particular, if we get that breakout, if we get the sell-off, not saying the markets are selling off, guys, I just like having a bunch of different scenarios to look at. So markets go down, I can trade this, make money. Markets go up, I can trade that, make money, right? So JNUG goes up whenever gold goes down, or rather, wait, I'm confused myself. I should know this. JNUG goes up whenever gold goes up. Obviously, right, guys? I should know that. I knew this. But JNUG goes up whenever gold goes up. And again, this has potential, guys. If markets all of a sudden tank here, like Ray Dalio thinks by March, if we start to sell off, there's a lot of potential here in JNUG. So overall, this video ran a bit too long, but if you guys enjoyed it, feel free to go down below, hit that like button, consider subscribing if you want to see further content from me. And if you want to be further connected with the Strive Smart community, the Discord's linked down below, the Facebook is linked down below, and your 2 free stocks are also waiting for you, linked down below with Webull once you deposit any amount of money. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks again for watching. As always, peace out.